Hello boys. It is me, adequately sized male here. How are you? I've got more updates for you. I have some pretty big updates for you, actually. Let's turn on the music and see if that makes anything slightly more exciting. So, you can see I do have Dragon. I had a couple of things a friend of mine traded for Forbidden Gold, and then I kind of cashed that in recently, and we had enough to get this, which is huge. So, if you've been following my streams and things, this is the main piece that starts to change the way we function and prioritize skills and just fleshing out the character. So when we cast Zeal, we're going to be attacking and casting Hydra from Dragon. So we're going to increase the damage from the Hydras from Fire Mastery, but also the synergies. That's why we have Fireball and some into Firebolt. So the Hydra itself is 12% chance to cast. It's not super consistent until we get a Dragon Plate as well, but that is another problem entirely. Okay, so we'll leave that for a rainy day. Level 15 Hydra is decent. It does help us with single target. It's really cool. We get Venom Windstruck. Okay, that's kind of nice. Holy Fire does add a cool little glow, and it does amp our single target slightly. We've got good defense versus missile. I got a minimum roll with attributes, but no one cares because that's the only thing that rolls from 3, 4, or 5 attributes, which is kind of hilarious. Decent strength, mana, max light res. It's just a beautiful item, and I'm so keen to just start, you know, casting Hydras and just playing what I wanted to with this build. You know, we've come so far, boys. Well, I don't want to get too deep. We'll go stats, skills, gear. I'll show you my new mercenary. I'll show you the other updates I have. But then also we'll get into some other things I'm planning. So, level 88. We've slowed down the leveling because I wanted to prioritize just farming random MF stuff to try and get gear. So, I still want to get a little bit more stuff and cap out my resistances and my block rate a bit more. And once that is looking clean and tidy, then I will want to push some more levels. So maybe I'll do some, you know, tally bells and just watch other people do the dirty work for me. Because that's what most people do when you play Sorceress. You boys know. Dexterity is decent. My block rate is 65. I could, you know, respec eventually and put more points into Dexterity. That probably will happen. But other things I do not have is other charms that have Dexterity on them. As you can see, I have 2 Dexterity. I've got 1 with 5, but all of these are just plain skillers. So if I get some here with Dexterity, not only is that going to increase our block and attack rating, but it's also cheaper than some lifers. So that's something I'm going to be keeping an eye out for, and if you have one to trade, then hit me up and I'll see what I have. We do have an Annihilus and a Torch, finally, so those things are going to bump us up a little bit, although they're not too crazy. I got lucky on the Annihilus because it's 20 attributes, and that's mainly what I care about. The res is, would be nice if it's higher too, but yeah, the Dexterity is very welcomed. As you can see, we have a lot of Vitality. Now, I have decided to respec with 0 Energy Shield. Now, the reason I've done that is because the essence of this build I wanted to focus on is slapping with Zeal, casting Hydras from dual dragons. We're going to get there eventually. There's a few other, you know, things I could throw along the way, such as casting a certain skill or casting Firewall to amp damage output. That's my baseline. There's always going to be stronger versions of this build. There's a fella on the Discord who's doing something similar as well, but this is the route I want to take. So, the reason why we do not have any Energy Shield is because we need so many points invested into the Fire Tree. We've got 20 Warmth, 20 Enchant, 20 Fire Mastery, right? So that's flat 62 skill points that are dead set, locked in. For Hydra synergies, we need 2 more skills to be maxed out. That's another 20 in Fireball, another 20 in Firebolt. That's going to bump us up to close to 94, maybe 95 or 93 to get these 2 maxed out as well. So as you can see, we have Fireball, that is maxed. Firebolt is up to 14, and I've left a couple spare depending on what I want to do. If I level up next, I'll have 3. That'll allow me to open up Firewall, which I'm you know, interested in trying. We only have 1 in Static, Telekinesis, and Teleport. That is all we need. It's still worth it to get static in my opinion. It's helpful in team play, also resistant mobs and things like that. Cold spells, we don't have anything. I'm going to touch further on this later because we did have it before in the last video. Now, to finish off stats and moving on, with our current setup, we do meet exactly the 60 FHR breakpoint, which is nice. Anything higher can be achieved, but we need more specific gear. Since we are not doing Energy Shield, the resistances are a lot more important. I do want to get these as high as possible, get my life nice and high. That means getting a CTA on Switch and just focusing on all of that other than just max energy, which is, you know, it may not be the best way to do this build, but I've never done it before, and I'm really keen to try different things to get it to work. So, skills I already showed you, so I'm going to go right over to my gear. Now, if I enchant, I have level 36 enchant now, which is pretty tasty, boys. If I switch over here, you can see Zeal is 10k when my dragon ticks in. If I take it off, I got 85. Oh, it's finally, you know, reaching over a certain number is so satisfying sometimes. I don't know why Fireball is there, but if I switch over to Berserk, you can see it's also very similar in damage output. So, Passion Phase Blade is the same as you saw. What has changed now is we have Kira's Guardian up here. This thing has hit recovery, which we need. Most importantly is the all resistances. Later on, I'm going to try and get one that's near perfect if possible, and then maybe socket it. But the thing is, when we get 2 dragons, a lot of our entire, you know, gear setup is going to shift around that. So, for the time being, it's a good lock-in. I might socket it. We've got High Lords here, +1, which we need for our Zeal. That is important. And attack speed does help, and Lightning Res is welcome as well. I showed my Dragon before. It's a pity there's no big resistance on here, but it does have the +5 to max, but unfortunately I need more resistances elsewhere. If we socketed the Twitch Throw and the Kiras, then that's going to give us enough, you know, from like 2 Umbrum, that's 30 all res. That's going to cap out pretty much all our res, aside from the fire res. So that's something I'd like to do. We'll see how that goes though. 29 ED on the Mage Fists. I have a 10 FCR ring, attack rating, Mana Steel, Dexterity, and Poison. It's just a very nice lock-in slot. I don't necessarily need the FCR here because the breakpoint is 20. The next one is 37 FCR, so that's a bit of a pity. The belt, 10 faster hit recovery on Verdungos gets us to the breakpoint. Vitality and damage reduction is awesome as well. I'm undecided exactly what I want to do with my belt slot. Arachnid Mesh is something which would be easy to play around with because it has +1 to all skills. Not Sorceress, but all skills, so I get that on my Zeal. But the cast rate is massive, you know. That's going to give us exactly what we need. One other thing I could do is to try and get a crafted caster belt. That's an opportunity for me to get extra resistances and to also get hit recovery and enough FCR to increase to 37 FCR frames, which you'd typically see me do on my barbarian characters. So if I show you here, a rare option I have is this. 24 hit recovery, 27 strength, and 25 fire res. It's nothing crazy, it still meets my hit recovery breakpoint, and, you know, I get a little bit of extra things and things. So imagine if I had this, but with cast rate, that would be, you know, that would be beautiful. Just another piece to tick off. But let's keep Verdungos there for the time being. We have a beautiful near-perfect Ravens, which I traded for. This thing is a little bit contradictory, I know, because we have 2 cannot be frozen sources, but Ravenfrost just adds an incredible amount of attack rating. As you can see, it's 6894. If I take that off, dude, it's 5,000. Like, it's crazy. We have some good boots here. Run, walk, hit recovery, 39 cold res, 20 lightning, 21 MF. I'm pretty happy with these. I'm keeping an eye out for some other ones depending on what, you know, what pieces I need to match what resistances. You know, like if I need fire and lightning, then it'd be handy to have fire and lightning boots. But yeah, they'll stick around for a while, and I don't know. We'll see how we go. Other small charms have been pretty piss poor. I have not been that lucky in trying to get them, and my priority hasn't honestly been anywhere near trying to get small charms. So if I can get stuff like this, 36 to attack rating, that's a perfect attack rating roll. That's going to give me a good chunk of attack rating. You can see that my enchant increases that by 300%. So 66, 98, up to 68. No, hold on, am I retarded? 200. 200. 300. Who cares? Maths is for people that actually finished their last year of high school, which I did not. My mercenary is looking a bit fresh, boys. Okay, hear me out. I've got a trash treachery on here. That's fine. You know, when it does proc, she gets fade. That's beautiful. She gets the increased attack speed, which is amazing. But what she does have is missed in a matriarchal bow. I know you can't exactly see the stats. If I put that in cube, maybe it'll be more visible. No, it won't. I apologize. We'll just put it back. This thing it's a reasonable roll. The ED is mid-range, which you can't see. The concentration is unfortunately only level 9, which it can, you know, I think it goes up to 13, 12 or 13. One of you boys can comment below. This thing has +3 to all skills. On the base is +3, so it's +6 to the explosive arrow. That is huge damage. 100% pierce, 40 all resistance, and freezes target. So when she pierces, she's going to be adding a little bit of crowd control. She's going to be adding more damage that's going to multiply from exploding arrow. And when she pierces, boys, she is going to be proccing Ondul's Almighty. You're wondering, what the fuck is this helm, Billy? What are you doing? I'm back with the off-meta shit, okay? Ondul's Almighty, I think, is one of the most underrated pieces of shit that everybody throws out. I was bitching to some of the boys about my struggles of trying to trade for this, because it is so worthless that A, people don't pick it up, B, people who list it don't even list the defense because it has no stat varying rolls, and C, the people who actually list it don't even reply to me because it's not worth their time for a P-Ruby to spend 3 minutes to try to switch servers and log back on. But it's just... Anyways, 10% chance to cast level 3 Weaken on striking. It procs very consistently with 100% pierce from Mist. Billy, why are you using this? It is dog shit. Level 3 Weaken. It reduces the damage of targets by -35% and it lasts 18.8 seconds. Okay, with my build, I'm not using Energy Shield. I take a lot more damage, okay? I need to really bolster my damage reduction as best as I can. It is capped at a certain rate per character. I only have enough if I decide to use Verdungos, but this is going to reduce it from the target's end. So it is basically a -35% damage reduction, okay? Let's go see it in action. I'm going to buff myself up a little bit. I am still going to use my Energy Shield on Switch. With 0 skills in it, my plus skills is only going to get it up to 11, so I have 61%. I know it's a bit, you know, hypocritical, but I don't care, boys. I can do what I want. I'm a big boy. TZ. Did I buff my mercenary? I did. Okay, let's go find... Oh, these guys are all fire immune. Why did I come here? See if we can find somewhere. There we go. We can see the weaken charges at work. Oh, lovely. Oh, lovely. I need to go to probably Stony Tomb. I can show you a more consistent area. Black Marsh. What do we got? Oh, it's amazing. I apologize. I need to shift area. This is not working well. Still over 10k damage. Mercenary damage is 4,000. Explosive arrow is 1185. Decent attack rating bonus as well. After a little bit of gameplay, I want to go through a few alternatives that I have with belt options. So, I mentioned that I eventually want to get a dragon armor. That will happen, you know, it's going to, you know, increase my single target, because I'll double stack my Holy Fire. It's going to give me 24% chance total to proc Hydra, a lot more defense as well, so it's going to be good. But it is going to restrict my ability to meet certain breakpoints. And that's one thing I enjoy quite a lot about this build is, you know, having to force myself to meet all these weird breakpoints, which you don't usually. On a sorceress, you've got hit recovery, you've got enough chance to block, do you have enough dexterity, attack rating? This, I don't know, I'm weird, I enjoy but most notably is the attack speed. We need 40% attack speed to meet breakpoint, which is 5 hits per Zeal, where we only have 4, and the attack is at 3.23. It's not too bad. Go on, Wendy. She's got Fade proc as well, that's brilliant. We don't even need to do much, and she just destroys, boys. Let's go do some Stony Tome. Look at the weekend. It's up basically all the time with how often she shoots. It's brilliant. I want to take you through a couple of belt options, as I mentioned. So right now I'm running Verdungos. It fits because I've got thick vitality, which is cool. I've got replenish life, that's cool. Damage received reduced by 14%, and then hit recovery to meet breakpoint. Yeah. Other options I have is I could get something that is caster that can help me meet the cast rate breakpoint. That's an option. Now, another few I have are the following. Talrash's belt. It looks very weird by itself, right? Talrash's is probably one of the cheaper pieces of the set, other than maybe the helm, right? But this thing has huge dexterity, as you can see. That increases my attack rating, but also my block rate is now up to 72% with that, which is massive. Magic Find is welcome, but also damage taken goes to mana. Now, this stat is not that widely used, and it's a bit confusing at times because it's not clear on the actual stat. But this thing, because we're not using Energy Shield, it is, well, we're not using invested Energy Shield, I do get a little bit more use out of it, a little bit more benefit. When we take damage, it's going to increase our mana pool, which is helpful. So 20 dexterity and damage taken goes to mana. And if we're talking about damage taken goes to mana, most of you are probably thinking about this belt, which is Night Smoke. I've upped this once so I can use it and test it. Instead of the dexterity on Tals and the Magic Find, we have increased damage taken by 50%, and a little bit of all res and just some flat mana. So it's just a basic stat stick, right? With the other stuff that's on there. Another weird option, which I've been playing with, is Snow Clash. Now, this thing, it looks very out of place on this build, but hear me out. It's exactly like the Ondals. It has a point. Now, on my previous videos, you'll notice that I was actually casting Glacial Spike that freezes targets for me to teleport in, and that just makes it a little bit safer to do all the damage that I want to deal. It also gives us Chilling Armor, so if I get another staff that has +3 to enchant, I can make that, and I don't need to worry about losing Shiver Armor or finding a specific base with both of the skills. So that is very helpful. Another option is also I could cast Blizzard from this. As dumb as that is, it doesn't really do much damage. It saves me all of the skill trees. 1, 2, 3, 4 skills, and my 5th point would go into Blizzard. That's 5 skills I can save. That is significant. So Chilling Armor, Glacial Spike, and Blizzard, I can pop all of these in, and I can go at it, boys. Alright, so let's chuck this on. I'm going to switch back. I'm going to put Blizzard on switch. The damage of that is only 171. Nobody cares. It is only for the crowd control. Excuse me, are there any enemies in here? Okay, barely. Alright, let's go downstairs. There's a slight cooldown, but that's alright. I don't mind too much. I do prefer Glacial Spike because I don't end up using it every single time. It seems like a little bit pointless to use Blizzard every single time. The AoE is good, as you can see. It does freeze a little bit, but if I switch to Glacial Spike here, I can AoE the mobs that are right in front. And that's the main thing that I really need, right? If I can freeze them, I can hop in front, and I'm good to go. Let's take some rejuice. I can't.
Thank you.
So my preference would be Glacial Spike, but if I'm farming very large areas and maybe later on I get Firewall, then +1 to Blizzard would be beneficial, just to freeze and slow more enemies under a wider area of radius than this build can just handle with Zeal by itself, you know? Griswold's there. That's pretty good. Well, that's about it, boys. I'm finished. I hope you like this video. We've had some big updates and, you know, some big things. So, yeah. If you have any ideas of things that we can upgrade next, let me know. If there's weird pieces of gear that you want to see, something like Ondals, then let me know. I'll see you around, boys.